Hello everyone, welcome back. It's another Friday, which means it's time for Friday with Dannphan, the weekly streams that we all love. We all love to contribute, I'm sure. Let's see, what kind of music is going to be my background music? I guess lo-fi is always a pretty solid one to put on. Yeah. So how is everybody doing? I hope you all had a good week. It looks like you got restricted if you log in incognito tab and there is that Google asking if it is you who logged into new device. If I don't say yes, then my chat can be restricted, censored. Interesting. Yeah, Google, or YouTube Google, you know, same entity, always doing new, random, and strange things. So, I guess, talking back to the last stream that we had, I didn't do the Spider-Man video yet, but I think I am gonna do it. I think I've convinced myself to do it. I just gotta, like, write down some notes, maybe record myself over the weekend, and then actually do the work of editing it. The editing takes the most, by the way. That takes the most time to do, is just the editing portion. That's like a full day of just editing. But it's all worth it in the end, because the videos, so long as the videos turn out good, that's all that matters, right? But I think I will do it. I think I want to make it a very good video so that people don't misinterpret what I'm trying to say in the video also. Because I do love those Spider-Man movies, but I think there's just like something about them that a lot of people just overlook. And, you know, maybe it's a cool idea to put a magnifying glass on that and talk about it instead of just continuing onward in life overlooking this one thing about the Spider-Man movies. They are still the best Spider-Man movies out there, though. They are probably still the best. Have you seen the new Superman movie yet? No. I watched a couple reviews on it, though, because I was kind of, you know, trying to see, you know, would Adam like this movie? You know, could I see it with him? I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna say no, he would not like this movie. He would probably be infuriated watching this movie. Superman getting arrested by the police is probably not something Adam wants to see. Or, Lex Luthor crying. Or, well, I don't want to go into any deeper spoilers, but spoilers never personally ruined an experience for a movie for me. Even if I know the plot twist, it doesn't usually ruin the experience for me. But I know that that's not the case for other people out there, so avoid the spoilers, I guess. Did you play Hero, Chad Kruger featuring Josie Scott while editing those videos? I'll have to do that. It's so 2000s. It's just like a little time capsule of the early 2000s, that period. If it's a James Gunn film, if you like his style, you'll probably like it. If not, then not. Yes, you know, that's a good way of putting it. Because Adam did not like Guardians of the Galaxy, right? And a lot of people are comparing it to Guardians of the Galaxy like stuff. So, yeah. I was kind of ambivalent to Guardians of the Galaxy and stuff of that type of directing. It's kind of like, I guess it's fine for the kids. I guess, you know, it's fine. It's no Spider-Man, but, you know, it's fine. It's fine. I hear a lot of the movie is dedicated to the action scenes, which is partially why people like it so much. Superman action is cool, right? But, yeah. And you get crypto, which Ishka would not like. Of course. Supes would allow himself to be arrested, though. Well, isn't he already a vigilante? Like, isn't he already breaking the law by doing good. Isn't that the whole idea behind all superheroes? I know eventually there's a Justice League, but before that, wasn't he just doing vigilante stuff? I don't know. I guess there's worse vigilante stuff to do. I'm not saying he's a bad person for doing vigilante stuff. But, you know. Seems to be better than the Snyder stuff. Yeah, people seem to like it more than the Snyder stuff. I think that is the general thought. I hear people clashing over their opinions on whether or not it's a good movie. So it is kind of interesting, right? Let him get arrested by ICE. Yeah, they went into the immigration angle with Superman, which is kind of always the angle that they've been going at for Superman, in modern day anyways. Is that, oh, well, he's actually an illegal immigrant. He's, like, very good. But, I mean, I'm sure that Ma and Pa registered him when they found him as a baby. So I don't know if you really have a lot of ground to stand on that, but, you know, whatever. I grew up on a farm. So, depends which age of Superman. The first age, he was pretty much killing people willy-nilly. Well, those were the good old days, right? I believe it was, what was it, the Comics Authority Code? There was some, like... There's some parental... Well, I don't actually think it was any parents. It was just like they created something, somewhat of a rule set so that the comics could still be deemed acceptable for kids to read. Because there was a lot of adult content in the comic books. And so they, yeah, Comics Code Authority. Yeah, I got them mixed up. But, yeah, because, it's kind of the same thing with cartoons, where for a long time there was nothing discerning adult cartoons from kids' cartoons. It was kind of the same thing with comics. So they ended up, like, pivoting their audience for superhero comics to just be the kids, because that was their main audience. But in turn, they had to take out the stuff that was not kid-friendly. And then, of course, you had to take out the killing. That was the idea. But, yeah. Amazing though, because a lot of the modern comics still, even though we now have age ratings for comics and a lot more clarity on what is for adults and what for kids, we still have a lot of the modern comics that keep to that, I guess, tradition of the no killing rule. I guess maybe for nostalgia purposes, or moral grandstanding in some cases. But, you know, I mean, you kind of know my thoughts on this, but it's kind of like whatever. Let's see, should I watch Frieren? I heard it's good, but I think it's overhyped. Also love your content. So, I like Frieren a lot, but I do think it has its flaws. For one, it has a slow opening. And, one thing that I can agree on when it comes to critiques of Frieren is that the first episode or first chapter, if you're reading the manga, it kind of leads you on to believing that the series as a whole is going to be very different from what it actually ends up being. It makes you think that it's going to be like a fantasy slice of life, exploring the world kind of series. And sometimes it is that. It's not that it's never that, but only sometimes. Sometimes it is also, you know, based around action. There are story arcs, there are villains, and there are problems that need to be solved, and then there are the lesser problems, which is the more slice of life parts. And it kind of bounces between these two vibes. So it has a slow opening, said, and then like it picks up pace when you get to the better arcs that are more action based. I like it. I enjoy Frieren, but that is like the main critique I hear a lot of people throw at it, is this, you know, slow and then fast and then slow and fast. And yeah, it kind of depends how long are you willing to hang around there and see if the whole vibe, not just part of the vibe, but the whole vibe is something that you would enjoy. But you know. Killing is wrong, is that a weird take? Lol. Yeah, I mean, context, right? Context is very dependent on that. But in general, yes, killing is wrong. Then again, I don't get that many comics ever since a bunch of shit books in 2017. Understandable. I don't like the whole tournament arc. I didn't like that either, you know? Normally I like tournament arcs, but I felt like it kind of put the series in general at a pause. And to some extent I understand why the writer wanted to put in the tournament arc. It's like there's a lot that he accomplished by doing the tournament arc in the story. But transitioning from a journey to all of a sudden, oh, I need this mage license now, it's a little bit disappointing. You know, it's a little bit like, okay, I guess we'll just put everything else on pause. I guess it makes sense for Frieren as a character, because she doesn't experience time the same way that humans do, so for her it's not really that big of a side trip. But it is a long arc, so it's very apparent to us that this is a long side trip, actually. But the beginning was much better than the end, perhaps. Perhaps. I don't like tournament arcs. They're all so boring and railroad the plot. I don't know. Some of them, I feel like it gives you like opportunity to showcase what a character can do, as well as help develop their character a little bit more. But yeah, I'm not a fan of it becoming a trope. I'm not a fan of it becoming something that every anime feels like it has to do. You know? I don't want to see it all over the place when I'm watching something new. But you know how it is. Here from the Demon Poster video. Welcome aboard. Welcome to Fridays with Dannphan. Basically, we just talk about any topic, anything that comes to mind. It's a free-for-all here. Complete chaos. But you know. Like Hunter x Hunter. I guess so, yeah. I'd do a small twist with the tournament arc. It used to be every shonen story developed a battle manga with power rankings and such. I mean, most of them still do, for sure. You know, when tournament arcs that I actually like, none really stand out to me. So maybe Ishika's onto something. I don't know. I remember when I was first watching My Hero Academia, I liked the tournament arc. That was actually probably peak My Hero Academia for me, and then after that I started to lose interest. So I can't speak for everyone. You know, I didn't watch enough Naruto to really give my own take on this, but I heard that the tournament arc in Naruto was also very good. Can you confirm? I don't know, but I'd probably give the ones in Dragon Ball, Hunter x Hunter, and My Hero a shot. Yeah. Okay. Dragon Ball, that's another good example. Tournament arcs. It was what Naruto had to offer. It was the what Naruto had to offer? Yeah. You know, I didn't watch too much of Naruto, but I didn't really grow up with it that much. Because, I mean, I had 4 kids, right? And, most of what I watched on there was Pokemon and Yu-Gi-Oh! And I know One Piece was also on there, but I didn't really watch it. Maybe it's better that way, because people the 4 kids One Piece dub. Yeah, Dragon Ball gets a pass from developed most of them. Good point. It did do a lot of firsts on that one. Yu Yu Hakusho, I wasn't even thinking about that. But yeah, they do have a tournament arc in there. Interesting, interesting. Alright. Yu-Gi-Oh! Also had great tournaments. That is true. That is true. The only tournament arc I can think of in One Piece was the Foxy Pirates one. That's the only one that really comes to mind. Not a huge fan of that arc. I don't know, it's a filler arc, you can skip it, so I guess there's that, but... Naruto was good for the first 4 seasons or so. After that, the pacing got really horrendous. I hear something similar to that. Generally, people point to Shippuden as being the problem. Like, in the first few episodes of Shippuden, he already, like, learns some super powerful new technique. But, as I've already said, I've never gotten that far. So, I don't know. Don't tend to go for the Shonen Jump titles as much. I'll kind of see anything that I like the plot of. Like, if there's something interesting about the plot that catches my attention, I'll kind of do whatever. Have you seen Superman 2025? No, I haven't. I haven't seen it yet. I've only heard reviews on it. I've heard positive and negative reviews, and I also hear people are clashing over whether or not it's a good movie, which is usually not the best sign, but, you know. I guess it depends what your overall takeaway from it is. One Punch Man had the best tournament arc. It was only 2 episodes. It's actually the opposite. He's uncharacteristically weak at the beginning of Shippuden. In Shippuden, the power scaling went complete bonkers, but it had its moments. Well, I know that at the end, right, he turns into some sort of golden god thing. I know this because, you know, the memes and also the video games shows that that form quite often, but you know. Sometimes I think Shonen Jump writers have this false takeaway that your character is better the more powerful that they are, and so they just keep on one-upping themselves, and that's supposed to be character progression. There's this one really funny, thumbnail from the Bad Writing Advice YouTube channel. I probably wouldn't be able to find it, but basically the idea is like it's making fun of a lot of manhwa and isekai stuff, and it, you know, in quotes, character development, and you see like a skinny normal guy and then he just gets buffer and buffer, and then you have money and like bitches on his arm, and it's like, oh yeah, character development. But like really it's just like giving a character more stuff and then calling it development, you know. But very funny. I'll give it that. Yeah, that's a fun channel, for sure. Yeah, what else was I gonna say? Oh, you know, recent news. We can go over recent news in anime as well. You know, the manga Kaiju number 8 officially ended. Yeah, they're done with Kaiju number 8. I think it was it's it ended prematurely, I think, right? Because it doesn't feel like it naturally transitioned into its final arc. It feels like it was really pushed to just, okay, let's go. It's bam, final arc, here we are. So I'm sure he probably got told that he would have a certain amount of chapters to just wrap up the story. I'm usually kind of disappointed whenever that happens. Because, you know, it feels like, oh man, this could have been much better if it was given more time, more story arcs to really flesh out all of these characters that we care about, right? But I overall enjoyed it. I did. I enjoyed it. And I feel like the anime, while it does have, you know, a little bit different of character designs, I feel like it was a pretty decent anime adaptation. I changed my mind on it once I saw it. But yeah, so that's ended. It has an open ending. So, I don't know, is that like hope that maybe it'll get picked up again? Like holding out for it to have future popularity and maybe he'll be able to continue it again? Or is that just like the writer giving us a little head nod, like, okay, well, the story may have ended, but it'll go on in your hearts, etc., etc. At the very least, there were, like, pretty good character moments in that final arc. They did, like, unravel the mystery, so you know how and why he got turned into a kaiju. But yeah, you know, I do wish it went on more. I do wish there was more to it. Feels a shame. But it was good. It was good for what it was. I always feel so bad when mangaka are forced to end something prematurely. Any thoughts on Ruri Rocks? That's the one where they're hunting the crystals, right? We watched that with our friends, actually. Because one of my friends actually does do geology. Oh, otherwise known as Ruri's Jewels. Yes, we watched episode 1 of this. It was pretty decent. Adam couldn't help, like, make fun of this frumpy, like, big breast girl because she's really frumpy looking, and he does not like that body type at all. I guess she's a short stack. Kind of similar to Uzaki, but maybe like a little bit more wider. Fatter. But you know, yeah, that's right. The manga industry is hyper competitive. The moment the sales start falling off, it's time to wrap up. Very true. Very true. Ruri Rocks was pretty decent for what it was. It's obviously trying to be informative, first and foremost. But yeah. All the information is correct. They did do their research. I don't know if it's actually supposed to be trying to get more people into geology. Like, if that's actually their end goal. Because they're explaining in the anime itself where to go hunting for crystals in Japan. Which is interesting. I'm not going to go to Japan to hunt for crystals, but it's, you know, it's kind of nice that they're teaching you how to go out and go do it yourself. Go hunt for crystals and go find some quartz, right? Granted, you can find quartz all over the place. Quartz is not rare at all. You can find it everywhere. But you know how it is. As manga news goes, most recent things I've heard was the Macross Frontier manga getting a US release soon. I heard about that too. Oh hey, Deadly Lifts. Got a George Costanza icon there. Sub this more your vid on that fat guy defending lay hecking wholesome murderous demons. Well, good to have you. This is a free-for-all conversation for the Fridays with Dannphan. We just talk about whatever topic comes up, give our opinions on it. But yeah. We are getting some newcomers today. They're all coming from the demon poster video. I'm surprised that video is still getting traction even now. I almost thought that maybe something happened that would cause the video to start getting recommended again. But as far as I know, that nothing really happened. Frieren Season 2 is not out yet, and it's not going to be out until next year. But yeah, for whatever reason, that's the one YouTube video of mine that YouTube is always recommending to people. I mean, that's fine. That's fine. If people want to watch it, go ahead. I always have kind of regrets as soon as a single video of mine goes viral. It's happened on occasion, right? But as every time one of my videos goes viral, immediately all I can think about is, oh my god, I made all these mistakes in the video, I should have fixed it. You know, like me fumbling over my words or not saying the word white because I talk too fast or whatever. Wild that demon poster vid is still getting recommended. Yeah, I mean, I guess it's one of those things. Once YouTube decides this is a popular video, we're going to always recommend this video for when we're recommending your channel. I get it. I do. But, you know. It's a great anime. I like Frieren. I'm excited for Season 2 when that comes out. It's your new profile pic. Your new Frieren avatar was the smartest business move in your entire career. I feel like it might have happened before that, though. Although I do like the smug Dannphan-esque Frieren thing. Because I was thinking about redoing my profile pic for the longest time. And then I did that thumbnail for the video where I reviewed random anime. Great video, by the way. I'm gonna do more of those. Highly recommend my own videos. Hot take there. Here. I'll do some visuals to make this stream a little bit more interesting. That's my channel. Whoa! Video stream is much more interesting because I'm sharing my screen. Yeah. Once I did the thrift store anime reviews, then I was like, okay, I actually enjoy this thumbnail. How can I save this thumbnail forever? And naturally, yes, I just took the face and then made an icon out of it. And now that's my new icon. I also used it for these videos. I reused it. Because, Melee James, aka Games, he liked the smug face, and I also feel like it fit very well with the topic videos, because I'm basically just torturing these guys by showing them crazy comics that I've seen. It was great. Why didn't I do a thumbnail for this one? This is just like the YouTube generated thumbnail. I gotta fix that. My bad, guys. And here it is. Here's another video that went viral. Although I kind of don't care if I made any mistakes in that video, because it's like, yeah, who cares? Harley Quinn fart comic. You can't pay me to care. I was still using Crusader Dannphan on this one. And then I switched it up to be Frieren Dannphan. 200,000 views? Goddamn, that exploded. I remember when, like, the first week or so, when I first posted it, I was bragging about how I got, like, 30,000 views on it. Not because that's, like, the most views I've ever gotten on a video or anything like that, but just because it was more views than the original video. But that is way more views than the original video. To get 200,000. My god. YouTube recommendations are so broken. They recommend me so much trash, and it takes so much time and effort to train that fucking algorithm. And no, in fact, I do not want to see that shit. Yeah, you know, honestly, I think the worst part about YouTube is that they've completely taken away your ability to just search for a video that you want. Basically, everything is completely tied to what the algorithm wants you to, or thinks that you want to see, or wants you to see, of course. But so search results these days, you can't actually search through multiple pages until you find what you're looking for, and it's not even necessarily 100% based on keywords of what you're looking for. It's almost entirely based on what the algorithm wants to recommend to you and how, you know, how loosely close it is to the keyword that you're actually typing into it. And then it'll only show you like 5 videos, and that's it. You get like 5 videos based on you searching for something, and then it just starts recommending you more random shit that you did not search for and did not want to see. I'm mostly getting recommended videos that I've already watched years ago. Same. Same. That's a lot of my recommendations too. It's really difficult, honestly. Because I watch a lot of YouTube. I do. But I feel like 90% of my time on YouTube is just looking for a video to watch instead of actually watching the videos. And I'm sure a lot of you can relate to that. Because I want to put something on. It's not that I don't want to put something on to listen to in the background while I'm working, especially when I'm working on comics. I do want to put something on in the background to just relax and work and listen, and it's difficult. It's becoming a little bit more difficult. There's some pretty good comic podcasts out there, of course. I can always rely on catching up on those. I follow the Ink Pulp podcast. If any of you know that. I don't know. How much comic stuff can I really talk about to the Friday chat? Because I think, like, I mean, maybe a couple of you do comics, but I think mostly everyone is in it for the memes and the commentary and all the other stuff, you know? Wish I could find the video of the fox that won't let go of the plastic bowl. I have no idea. I don't think I've seen that video. There's a bunch of interesting, unique videos out there, of course. It's funny, people talk about, TikTok all the time, and I kind of have the same general opinions of TikTok as I did with Vine, where it's like, what's the point of getting the app? Everything will just be re-uploaded onto YouTube anyway. And yeah, pretty much everything gets re-uploaded onto YouTube. It's literally all you need. It will always get re-uploaded. But, you know. Yeah, YouTube is literally part of my morning routine. Can't get up without putting on a video first. Sometimes I do that. I try not to do that because I actually find that I'm more productive if I don't immediately look at social media when I wake up. Like if I wake up and instead of, you know, watching or scrolling on my phone, I just get up and start my day normally, or like, you know, making my breakfast and relaxing without looking at anything, I find that I'm actually more productive that day. I think part of it is, you know, ADD type of stuff, where once you're getting distracted by multiple different things, you can't actually focus on doing work or whatever. But some people, it's like the opposite for them, where they need something to distract them first to get their mind reset. I'm not sure. Are you less negative when you don't look at Twitter or other similar? sometimes I try to keep my Twitter X, right? I try to keep my Twitter feed relatively positive. Obviously, I can't control what other people decide to post or repost. I usually turn everyone's retweets off. Just, you know, being brutally honest, I usually just turn it all off so I don't get any reposts on my feed. Unless they're quote retweeting. Because when you quote retweet something, people who have their retweets off will still see it. So there's that. Oh, hey. Cute profile pic. Welcome to chat. But yeah, I try to keep it relatively positive. Mostly just following artists. And, you know, mostly just reposting about artists. Keeping it professional, as they say. Who is more of a patriotic American comic character between Common America and Patriotica? I don't know if I know about Patriotica. Patriotica. Oh, okay, is this another indie comic character? I guess so, because I see, like, the Kickstarter for it. Man, you got a lot of backers. This was last year? How did I not hear about this? Oh, well, I guess because I have my retweets off. Well, whatever. Yeah, I mean, this looks fine. Yeah. Honestly, I have a bunch of Common America comics I have not read yet. I read the first one, right? And I thought the first one was pretty good. And then I was like, oh, I'm gonna read the whole series. But then I kind of just have the whole series just sitting on a desk and I haven't cracked it open yet. There are also a bunch of books, a big stack of books that I'm trying to read. A lot of them are indie books, you know, self-published, straight from the authors. And, you know, when you meet the author, and you know that you're going to meet them again, you're like, oh, geez, I got to finish this book so I can actually talk about it and not be one of those people that just buys the book and lets it sit on the shelf for a long time. But yeah. Oh, man. Just got power back and buffering is making 2 times to catch up the stream impossible. Anyway, hope everyone's good. Sorry to hear that, man. But you're motivated to keep on watching. I appreciate that. I prefer Black Hops over Common America, but that's just me. Never read Black Hops, honestly. It is cute though. It's a cute concept. And then there's the other one. What was it? Soul Finder? That's another iconic comics one. I was curious about that one, but I haven't read it yet. That classic, I know, there's so many different random manga that I've just binged, and then all of these indie comics, there's so many that I have just sitting on a desk. Brutal. I'm sorry. Sometimes something just isn't really a priority at the moment. Normally, on most occasions, when I receive a comic from a campaign that I've backed, I normally read it right away. Like, immediately. That's just not the case for a couple of them. But then again, I didn't get the Common America comics from a comic campaign. I bought them from the store. Maybe that's part of the reason why. I don't know. Maybe something about it not being from a campaign has made me less motivated to read them all. I don't really know the logic behind that. But yeah. Usually need to be in the right mood before reading a comic. I guess so. Huh. And you gotta also be prepared to be disappointed is another thing. I've read a good bit of indie comics where I'm like overhyped, honestly. and then just a big letdown when it's, you know, it's very obvious that, oh, this is the first comic you've ever written, and it shows. It's very obvious that this is, in fact, the first comic you've ever written. That's brutal. Okay. Yeah. I saw, well, I don't know if I want to really go into Twitter drama, but I saw some comic creators out there who would originally write their own material. Now they're turning full-on AI to do the writing and art for them. And I'm thinking to myself, what's the point then? What's the point? If I'm not going to get something authentic, if I'm not going to get something personal from you, what is the point? The fact of the matter is, people don't see AI-created art or AI-created writing as valuable. Especially when they can just do it themselves. There's no value in it. There's nothing, well, like I said, there's nothing personal. There's no skill involved in it. And it's also kind of just bad. It's just kind of poor quality stuff. There's this one good arc in Bakuman. For those of you who, do you guys, anime folks, have you heard the great tale of Bakuman? Yes, the manga creating anime. And also, it was a manga, I guess, but I watched the anime. But there's this one character in there who does not really, he like partially does writing and partially does the art, but most of the work actually lies on a huge group of people. He has forums where like he hires on board all these different writers who are adding in all these different ideas, and they're all kind of clashing together, and then he has all these different artists who are acting as assistants to make his art look better and look even better than it should be. But because there's so many different hands in the pot, you know, there's something kind of wrong with it. And editors are looking at it and they're like, well, it's interesting. It's not like objectively bad, but there's something off about it. It doesn't feel like it has any direction. It doesn't feel like it has a voice. And I think that is a little bit comparable to the whole AI thing, where AI is just this amalgamation of all these different voices, but because it's getting all put inside a meat grinder and pumped out on this conveyor belt, it doesn't have an independent voice. It's just generic. It's just generic slop, you know? And it very much reminds me of that character from Bakuman, where he doesn't have his own voice in his manga, but he's so obsessed with making something good, with being the person who can make something good, that he's willing to sacrifice any vision that he could have had, or any talent that he could have had, to substitute it with some amalgamation of what he thinks is good. And you know, people used to make fun of a lot of modern writing. I guess they still do. They made fun of a lot of modern writing for not having a voice, for not being creative, and just feeling as though it's a bunch of tropes and cliches just kind of packed into a meat grinder and then pumped out on a conveyor belt. But that's exactly what AI is. That's the actual real life. That's what people have been criticizing about modern writing for years. When they say that it's bad writing, that's the critique that they're giving it, is that it's not creative and it's not unique and it's very bare bones. But that's what a lot of AI stuff is coming out with, just bare bones stuff, you know? But yeah, I mean, it's all of this is all reasons why people don't see it as being valuable. Especially people who do love art. and who do love books and everything, you know? But I'm sure many of you already assumed that I was not a pro AI person. Not that I'm gonna go on a crusade against it, you know, because I don't really think it ultimately matters in the grand scheme of things. I think so long as AI is not that profitable in the long term, it really is just kind of a fad. Same thing with TikTok. TikTok is not going to be profitable in long term. They're just like using it for alternative means, essentially. But just like Vine, TikTok will eventually die because it doesn't make a lot of money. In fact, I'm pretty sure it loses a lot of money every year. It's a good point. You don't need AI to be a generic, shitty writer and artist. Yeah. If you work really hard, you can do that all on your own. My first comic, I have never posted it, only a few panels, not finished it either, to be honest. Well, a lot of advice that I hear people give for starting off writing comics and like putting your work out there is at least finish one, right? The number one advice I hear a lot of professional comic people give is finish your comic so that you have something to show that is like done. Obviously, it's very dependent on what kind of comic it is, and that's why a lot of people will very often recommend that you start off with short stories. I would also kind of recommend that you start off with one-shots or short stories. Not that I did that. I did very much the opposite, where I started off with writing shitty webcomics and long stuff, and it didn't work out, you know? It really did not work out until I restrained myself and learned how to reel back and allow myself the time to finish a story and give myself time to actually grow and get better by doing multiple completed stories instead of wasting all my time on something that would never be completed and would never actually get me to improve. Yeah. I'm pretty sure TikTok causes more brain cell loss than anything. Maybe. I do hear short form content, I hear, does add a lot to cause ADD and stuff of that. But, what can you say? I would also eventually like to make more videos talking about people taking criticism, because some people are not good at it. I gotta be honest with you guys. Some people, they reach out to me, they want criticism. They don't really want criticism. They don't really want it. And I can tell they don't really want it. They say they do, they don't. They want praise. That's what they want. They want praise and they want success. And they want it now. They're not gonna work for it, not gonna, they just, yeah. There's a couple different ways I see people handle criticism. And I get it. I do. But the first way is just like getting angry, calling you names, trying to dogpile on you and get your fans to attack the reviewer. That's completely unacceptable. Not acceptable at all. You should never do that, ever. The second way is slightly more acceptable, but just annoying, is when they try to, you get critique and you disregard the critique, or you gaslight the person giving you the critique by just saying like, well, all the things that they didn't like about my work are things I did intentionally. I was intentionally trying to make it boring and unappealing. You just don't get it. You know, the arrogance where it's like, oh, you silly fool. You just didn't get it. And to be fair, there are critics out there who don't get it, who don't get a story that they read. And I will just blatantly say in my review if I don't get it. If I don't get it, I'll be like, yeah, I don't get this. Yeah, I read this thing. I don't know why people like it. I don't like it. I don't understand it. And that'll usually be my takeaway. I'm very transparent about whether or not I get a book. Or sometimes, you know, if I don't, anyway. Those were not words, but you get what I mean. I've had people read my comics and they don't get it. And I get that they don't get it. But I can still find value in their critique. The fact that they don't understand what they're supposed to take away from the comic isn't of itself a good critique, because it shows me as the writer what is not clear about the comic. Or at the very least, what is not clear enough to the majority of people. Like, maybe it'll be clear to a small section of people, but if you want to increase your outreach, you got to make sure that it's more understandable for more people out there. So, even though I understand sometimes people don't get the writing, sometimes that is true when you're getting a critique. Sometimes they don't get it. But there is still something that you can learn from somebody not getting something. I just find it very annoying when I'm gaslit and people pretend that the criticism that I'm giving is something completely different from what I actually said. You know what I mean? Or they pretend that I want them to do something completely different than what I'm actually suggesting that they do. Because it's their way of just disregarding or not listening. And if you're not gonna listen, why should I ever talk to you, ever? Like, what is the point of this conversations if you're not gonna listen to the critique in the first place? There's no point, you know? Anyway. Maybe I'm a little bit annoyed, but it's alright. It's okay. Yeah, it's not a mistake, that's my art style. Yeah, sometimes that is the thing. Intentionally misprinting a double-page spread to make it more cinematic. I don't know. I don't know what specific one you're referring to on that one, but that's a little bit funny. It's almost like not everyone likes every single thing. Of course. Of course. I kind of assume that'll be the case, you know? But even if you assume most people, or not everybody is going to like what you're dishing out, you can adjust to make it more welcoming to more readers. And maybe that's something people have the intention of doing. I mean, I like fantasy. As does Adam. We both like fantasy. That's why we do fantasy stuff. Because we like it, right? But if you're a writer and you're aiming for an audience who also likes fantasy, you would be, in theory, aiming for us. But there are other things that we don't like. There are other tropes that we don't really like. Harems, right? And if your fantasy has a harem in it, then it's not going to appeal more. You lost us. You had us and then you lost us, you know? So the more you narrow it down, the more of a niche you get. And that can be a good thing, but it can be a bad thing. It really depends on what your intentions overall are. But yeah. I showed my incomplete comic to 2 persons. One thought it didn't make sense. The other laughed at the expected points. It was humor, but the drawings were terrible. Yeah, I mean, art... Have you seen my art? Art takes a long time to get better at. But you can make it take a much shorter time, so long as you're giving yourself... what would I even call it? I guess art drills? So long as you're doing the appropriate practices to learn all the things that you're lacking in your art. Learn the fundamentals, I guess, is what I'm saying. The fundamentals are going to take you a long way. I met Lisa Ortez, Debbie Dara, Barry, Doug Walker today. Lisa also did Amy and Lena for me too. Who do you think is going to voice Amy in Sonic 4? Hopefully it's going to be her. Yeah, I guess in the cutscene they never actually had her talk, so I guess they're probably still debating who's going to be the voice actress. But you know, it's kind of hard for me to imagine get some celebrity. That's kind of my assumption now, because only Tails was one. they got like a voice actress from the original cartoon to do. And I didn't fight very long or hard for that voice actress either. I was kind of like, about it. But yeah, I have no idea. Because I don't know what actresses are really, really popular right now. But it does seem like they'll probably go for a celebrity. Double page spreads are hard. The page fold can completely ruin it for you if you don't plan it out. Oh yeah, for sure. They are. They are very hard. I've only done maybe like 2 double page spreads. I think they were both in Reaper. Because I did this one, right? And this is kind of a simple one. And there was the other one that Renee did for me. There it is. That one's much better. You can tell, like, oh wow, the art bumped up a lot in this one. There's actual contrast, and I can see it from far away. Yeah, she's good. She's good. But what's good about double page spreads, if you're going to do them, it's good to think about where the center line is going to be and making sure that there's no super important information there, that it can still like kind of be enjoyed as 2 separate pages. For example, you see Ichabod here on the one page, and you could enjoy just that as one separate art piece. Then over here, you could enjoy just that as one separate art piece. You know, you're separating the different subjects to pay attention to. And I think that's like kind of a good way to go about it as well. Oh, you know, the hour is up. We only do these streams for about an hour, and then I have to hop off. So I guess I should kind of just wrap this up. But yeah, this is really fun doing these Friday streams. So I guess maybe I'll just answer like one last question or so. When do you think the new Powerpuff Girls series is going to come out? Ooh, I have no idea. That was announced a while ago too, so maybe in a couple years? I don't know. I feel like they would have had an announcement already if they were planning it for next year, so maybe 2 more years. And do you love Lena Inverse at all too? Because I do. Have you watched Slayers? Yes, I have watched Slayers. I do love Lena Inverse, although I will say my favorite character in Slayers is probably Amelia. I really like Amelia. She's very fun. you know, justice and all that. I like Gowry too. I feel bad that Gowry doesn't often do much with his sword. He should do a lot more. I would like it if he was cutting people more often, instead of everyone just waiting for Lena to do everything. But yes, I do love Slayers. It was good. I've watched all of it. Oh, sorry. No, I didn't watch all of it. I didn't watch the movies. The movies are kind of prequels, though, from what I understand. I watched all of the first 3 seasons of Slayers, and then I watched Slayers Revolution. But yeah, it was good. It was good. And my favorite character in Slayers was Zelos. I like a well-written trickster. No, he was good. I liked his original voice actor. They got a different English voice actor for him in Revolution, and I was like, what the heck? It's not the same. He's trying to do his iconic "it's a secret" line, right? But he doesn't have the whine. You need the whine in the voice. He's just doing some breathy voice, and I'm like, no, it's not the same. It's a secret. It's gotta be like that. Oh, man. You didn't watch in the original dub? Well, I just watched whatever dub was available. I didn't watch the subtitled one. I just watched, the dub that was available online. What voice actors have you met, Danny? Well, the last voice actor I can remember meeting that I guess was kind of an iconic voice is the voice from Ed, Ed, and Eddie. He was really nice, honestly. He, like, was across from our table when we were at a, what was that convention? TropicCon? New York? He was really nice. He was just super friendly. His autographs were super cheap. Just a cool dude, honestly. I don't know anything else that he's done besides Ed from Ed, and Eddie, though. But, yeah, he's just a chill bro. Yeah, that was something, for sure. I watched Slayers in TV with subtitles. It is difficult. It's difficult when the character voice changes, true. Especially when they do a super iconic catchphrase like that, but they deliver it in very different ways, you know? Very different delivery with both the voice actors. Okay, guys, we are gonna call it here for the night. I gotta get going. But yeah, thank you for joining me on another fantastic Friday with Dannphan. Don't worry if I didn't get to your questions or your comments or your concerns. There's gonna be another Friday with Dannphan. Because I try to do these every Friday, so, you know, hang in there. I'm gonna work on some more videos for you guys real soon. And yeah, maybe I'll have some more news on the Reaper comic series pretty soon as well. Ooh. Probably not. Alright, so I'll see you next time, guys. Good night, everybody. Have a wonderful Friday. Good night. Bye.